What's up YouTube, this is All Things Quick. So I'm at CarQuest right now, about to drop off some parts. I got the rest of the stuff there last night, so I got the oil pan with the axles in there and the transfer case, got my engine block, I got my head, and I got the oil filter housing. And you can see how dirty this stuff is. You saw in the shop in the last video, I'll put a link to that if you haven't seen it, but this stuff is pretty filthy. And I left it in my truck last night and it snowed, so I threw some bags on it just so it wouldn't get more snow on it, which is pretty stupid of me. But anyways, I figured I'm not going to waste time. I'm just going to get it here to the shop and then get them to clean it up. And I got my pistons and I got a couple other things in the back there, so I'm just going to drop her off. Alright, so you can see here how dirty all this stuff actually is. Like, look at that grime right there. So that's why I want to get this all cleaned up, and once we get it back, show you what it's like once it's all cleaned up. And we got the hole from the old turbo drain, so I'm gonna have to hopefully do some TIG welding on that and get that properly situated for when we do some boost. It's not an ideal location, but I'm gonna work with what I have right now because I made this from the last setup. So anyways, we're gonna drop this off and be back in a couple days. Alright, so I just showed up to CarQuest and I got all my stuff back, and this is why I love taking it here instead of doing it myself, because like, look how clean all that stuff is. It's gorgeous. It's like you can see how it was before, and it's just completely, like, even just like the tarnish on these guides for the timing chain, it's just like, it's just so nice. And this is the oil pan. They were telling me at first that they couldn't do it, but they did the last one. They thought that it wouldn't fit in their cabinet, but fit fine. Super nice. Got the head done. Everything's just immaculate, and that's why I like to do everything first and have something clean going back in. Got all the pistons done. And yeah, just looks super good like that. Almost forgot the bottom of the rods, but they cleaned that up for me and got those done. So everything's good to go now, and I'm gonna head back home, get this over to my shop, and that is everything ready to go. So I'll get my rings soon and start reassembling some stuff. Okay, so I just got back to the shop here, and I'm going to unload all my stuff into the shop, inspect it further with some better lighting in here. Okay, so I got everything in here. This is, let's start with this. This is the oil pump. The thing looks immaculate. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. And then here's the gear for the chain, the inner sprocket for the thing. So it's all just like, that's spotless, right? And then the pistons here, there's definitely some wear on the skirts here. I mean, it's an OEM piston, right? Like, it has, like, I think this is like 300,000 kilometers, so it's to be expected. And yeah, so anyways, these are very fresh. I'm gonna order some piston rings, get these things grinded down to the specs that they need to be. But I'm very happy with that. Yeah, and then it just has a little bit of scoring from being in the box and rubbing together, but it's not a big deal. Anyways, I'm happy with those. Here is the engine block. Like I said, it's just essentially spotless compared to what it was. The underside looks immaculate. So fresh. It's going to be so nice to work with something clean to reassemble this. This head, I kept all the valves in with the springs and the valve stem seals. Everything's in there still. But I don't think, like, this was a stock engine from the beginning, so I don't think that it's going to be an issue with the valves. Also, in the side of the block here, like I showed you before, there was this bolt that I messed up and had to get drilled out, so he drilled it out. I'm going to have to fill that in, and then I'm going to have to drill it out and then tap it for a new bolt. Here's the oil pan. I have this hole where so like, the reason that I did it like this, I had a oil drain feed from the turbo going into this oil pan, and I drilled it in a high spot. And the bottom of this, I'll link a video to what I actually did when I did this, but I did it in place, so it was kind of janky and a little bit crooked. But this goes right to the bottom of the timing chain, but it's a high spot, so if it drains in there, the oil only sits up to I'm pretty sure it doesn't clear this axle here. So the oil is lower than that. So this is able to drain out. It might pool a little bit right here, but at least it's able to, like, everything's moving, it's flowing, so it's going to be able to drain out and then go into the bottom of the oil pan there to get recycled and picked up from the pickup tube on the oil pump. So that's the reason I did that. It's a kind of weird location because of a top mounted turbo. The only place it really could go is in the timing chain cover, but like, because I didn't have the timing chain installed and everything like that when I took this apart, I was gonna fit it, but I decided I'm just gonna go with the oil pan setup. For this build, this will be fine. For the next build, for the big build, don't get mistaken, this is a B25. I'm rebuilding it with 3-liter parts. So it's a 2.5 liter originally, but I'm gonna put a 3-liter crankshaft in it, 3-liter cams in it, and essentially make this block and head of a 2.5 liter into a 3-liter. The actual 3-liter is up there. So that's going to be about 1,000 horsepower when it's done. This one's going to be about 600-ish or so. 600, maybe 650 if I can push it to that. But essentially what I'm doing with this is making it into a 3-liter. And because of that, because it's a lower horsepower range that I'm going for this setup, I'm not going to have to worry about the oil drain situation. But basically the oil drain, like when you buy a kit that has these oil drain lines, like unless you get one cut to the size you need, these drain lines are only so long, so the top mounted setup can only reach, the turbo would be like right here, and then the engine's here, and then the intake side is there. So your turbo sitting here, there's only so far you can go with the drain line, so that's why I drilled it there. Otherwise, I'd like to have it, because the engine does sit naturally like this, right? So I wanted it to be able to, because imagine that's the axle there, right? So if the engine's sideways like that, I'd want it to be able to go into the high side here, but I can't make that happen because I'd have to wrap all the way around the engine to get to this side, and the hose wasn't long enough at the time, so that's why I did that. The big build, I'm going to do something that's much more efficient and something that actually works better. So anyways, I'm going to TIG weld a fitting on there so I can make it proper and not have to worry about that ever breaking loose or leaking. With that being said, this is the end of the video. If you like that video, definitely stay tuned for the next one because we're going to start reassembling some things. So if you like that video, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you did enjoy this video, and don't forget to hit us up on our Discord server. The link is in the description. We'll see you in the next one. See you later.